Hey folks, Evil DM here. I am the Evil DM Podcast. DM Vince. Responding to a voicemail today from DM Carl, and I'll play that for you.
Hello, Vince. This is DM Carl from Save or Die. Wanted to say thank you for starting the new podcast. I've enjoyed listening to it. Looking forward to Unearthed Arcana. And I was wanting to comment on your use of Savage Worlds for Star Trek. I think that's a really good idea. I could definitely see the synergy there between that system and that type of narrative. Another system you may look at, and you may have heard of this system, I'm not sure, is Risus or Risus. It's Risus, and it's the Anything RPG, and it's really very loose knit, just for fun one shots. It wouldn't be necessarily as good a system to use as Savage Worlds for a long-term campaign, but it's worth looking at because it lets you run just about anything, whether it's Star Trek or whatever else your heart desires. Keep it up. Thank you so much for all the shows.
Thanks for the message, Carl. Yeah, I was considering Savage Worlds for the longest time for doing a Star Trek game. And then I started looking at Star Trek Adventures a little bit more because I wanted to see what that was all about, because I haven't touched it since I did the playtest for it. And if I remember correctly in the playtest, I really wasn't impressed with it. And I stuck with it hoping things would kind of change just a little bit. But nothing really did change as far as the rules go. So I'm not sure. I don't really like the whole momentum and threat chip thing and how that works, and that's one of the things that really turned me off. Now, the skill and discipline, or skill and focus, and roll a 2d20 or 3d20 and get underneath it your number to see how many successful tasks you pass, and is really cool the way they did that. But I don't really like mechanics in games that allow players to edit or pretty much change the situation based on just a token or a Benny or something like that. So I kind of passed on that. And I'm not putting it down or anything. It's just not something I enjoy and I liked. So that's why I didn't really pick up on Star Trek Adventures. Savage Worlds, it is a great system. I did like playing Savage Worlds when I did play it in the past at various conventions, and we played Deadlands for quite a big campaign a couple of years ago. I played in one. I was a sheriff, and I was a Texas Ranger, actually. And I had a lot of fun playing that. It's an interesting system, but the problem I found with it is, while it would be great for Star Trek, there was nothing complete for it. Everything that I found as far as Star Trek goes was a bunch of blog sites where people started things and they never completed it, or it was, all the way up to a certain point, it was missing stuff. And I didn't really want to have to teach my group a new system, plus have to learn and, do things by scratch for a system and rebuild an entire system for something they may not like. So what I have settled on is going backwards even further in time and going back to FASA Star Trek. It's one game that I'm pretty familiar with because I had played for quite some time when I was in high school. We played a weekly campaign. Or maybe it wasn't weekly. It was semi, whatever it was. And we were aboard a ship, and I started out, and the GM, Tony, back then, had such a great idea that he started us as junior officers, and I want to take that idea and use it for my campaign. And he started us as junior officers, and he made us kind of work for our promotions, and not a sense that we had to, beg for it or anything, but when promotions came with awards and everything, it actually kind of felt special, and we got more skills on top of that. So instead of just building a straight-out character and be like, okay, Lieutenant Commander, boom, you're assigned, we'd start out right out of the academy, and we would be just an ensign or a lieutenant junior, depending on how we passed our cadet crews. And we would work as junior officers going on these missions on an exploratory ship and trying to figure out how to navigate and learning these skills. And we didn't even realize that we'd be learning the skills while we were playing. So we would get our skill points, and it would kind of feel like an accomplishment in the game, as far as some people feel when they level up, or, in D&D when you get another level and you get a bunch of skills, or you get more hit points. In Star Trek, it's a little bit different with their skills, but we would get new things, and we would get a rank up, and it was kind of like a cool celebration moment in the group when you got an award and you got ranked up, it was kind of like, ooh. And you would make a note of that on your character sheet of the date when that happened and the start date, obviously, of the game. And it was kind of like a cool little history you're building as you're playing the game. And I think I'm going to incorporate that into my game. Obviously, it's not really an original idea, but I've never seen anyone else do it, so I figured I might as well do it for my campaign. It should be a lot of fun. So FOSSA Star Trek is where I'm going to land on it. I know there's quite a little bit of a niche community for it, I should say. Probably not a lot of people are playing it, but I know quite a few people that I speak with on a daily basis that do play it and that do enjoy it. So there's always that kind of support there if I need to ask questions, and I know there's a whole bunch of groups on MeWe, whatever you pronounce it. There's a group on Facebook as well that is constantly going on about FOSSA Star Trek. Actually, I think there's like 4 of them that I'm in, and they're constantly creating things and doing things. So it's not like it's a dead, complete game that would go into the Dead Game Society. But, well, technically it would go in the Dead Game Society, but it's not a game that is left for dead, like something that's never been played before. Now, as far as, Carl, the Rhesus game you're talking about, I have heard of it. I've never actually looked at it in any detail, so maybe it's something I can look into for playing one-shots. Might be fun, like you said, not a long-term thing, but a one-shot thing. So I'll have to, when I head back to my desk at work during a break, I might just Google that game and see what I can come up with, because it sounds like it might be interesting. If it's a pay game on drive-thru, I'll just, grab the PDF of it and then read that. If it's free, then all the better, because then if I don't like it, at least I didn't, drop money on something I didn't like. So I think I'm going to head out. If you want to leave a voicemail, go ahead and go over to anchor.fm/theevildm, leave your voicemail, or you can head, actually that's the only place you can go because I don't have anywhere else. Or you can go to theevildm.com, my website, and go to contact us and or contact me or contact the Evil DM or ask the Evil DM. I forgot how I phrased it. You can send me an email and it'll go right to me and I will respond to the email on this show. If you have a question about anything, don't forget to head to iTunes and drop me a starred review. If you leave a written review, I can read it on here while talking about this podcast. That helps just encourage the show go on, and something that it's always cool to hear your name shouted out in every different episode. Well, with that said, I'm going to say keep it original, keep it old school, and good night, everybody.